I'd love to start with your journey into real estate. Talk to me about how you got into it.
I'll keep it very brief so that I don't bore anybody, but honestly, this was a life-changing event for many people in different ways. But I was kind of a late bloomer, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do in life. And so, like most people, I jumped into the corporate world thinking that would solve my problems. And I found that I was absolutely miserable. I was doing real estate radio ad sales back in the day, and everybody around me was miserable. I'm like, does anybody actually like what they're doing? But here we are struggling, right? Because we got to put food on the table, and I
Mhm.
was newly married. It was when the towers fell. 9/11 was really my triggering point, if you would. It was like it happened. I had just gotten married. Like this was only a year into our marriage, and now all of a sudden we're dealing with this major trauma, so to speak. And I saw how everybody was miserable, and I was like, this is crazy. Like I have my life ahead of me, and it can be changed in an instant. So I made a decision at that point. Either I get out and do what I really wanted to do, or I fold into the corporate envelope for the next, 30 years. So clearly I chose to quit and become unemployable ever since.
I had a similar story, but it took me a little bit longer. Whereas I was in the corporate world, not working for big companies, but also in sales, selling for helping different entrepreneurs, build their first, I don't know, million, couple million in revenue, and then realized that I didn't want to do this for other people for my whole life. And I would be the best rep for the first year and then the worst rep the next year because I'm like, it's no longer interesting. I'm not learning anything anymore. I figured it out. I did really great. Cool. Box ticked. Now what's next? And I just couldn't, I wasn't a great consistent, like, oh, I'm going to be your top number one performer year over year over year over year. And so I've made it to, I think I was
Yeah.
20, 27 when I pulled the plug and went from six figures to zero figures.
And I get it. And sometimes you jump into those things and you don't really know what direction you're going to go. And for me, I got my real estate license in early 2002. But I knew from the day I got my license, I knew I didn't really want to be a realtor. Like that was
Mm.
not my lifelong ambition. I really wanted to always be involved in investment real estate. I was doing some flips, learning the hard way, making some money on some deals, losing some money on the others, but learning a lot along the way. And I started off in most of the trades, so I could do pretty much everything because I started flipping myself. So when the towers fell, I got my license and I did get into residential sales in the next 6 or 7 years. That's what I did. I worked with buyers and sellers. And right around 6, 7, we had a couple friends or family that said, hey, do you think you could manage these properties? And it was enough to pay the one car payment. That's what I remember most was it paid the car payment every month. And I was like, okay, well, we got these, a couple of people.
Welcome back to The Loop, your weekly dose of all things property management. I'm your host, Colin Stewart, and each week we're going to dive into the latest trends, strategies, and stories shaping the property management world. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, we're here to provide insights, expert interviews, and practical tips to help you navigate the ever-evolving landscape of property management.